Hi everyone, it's Kathie. Thanks so much for joining me. I have a new project to share with you. I'll be featuring the January 2018 Paper Pumpkin Kit. Alright, before we begin, I want to send out a great big thank you to everyone for all of your wonderful comments and the heartfelt emails I received from my last video, and I am totally over the moon and really feeling the love. I also want to especially thank those who sent in a donation in support of continuing Paper Pumpkin projects. You know who you are. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your generosity. I'm honestly not comfortable with the idea of the donation button on my blog, and you are not obligated to donate, but your support would be greatly appreciated. Alright, so how can I stop Paper Pumpkin now, right? Okay guys, I will commit to another year. Let's get started with our project. Okay, we're going to start off with Soft Sky ink, and then the markers is Wild Wasabi, Lemon Lime Twist, Black Basic Marker, Marina Mist, and Soft Sky. And I have my paper snips there, and I did create a little mask using a post-it note, and we're going to use the striped card base from the kit, and I'll have the dimensions down below. So I did hack this up, and we just want that small little strip there out of that whole panel. And then for the envelope, I just need this piece with the dimensions below. And here's a quick look of the finished card. I hope you like it. And we're going to start stamping. Okay, with Soft Sky, and we're going to use the heart stamp that has the 2 word on it. So basically what we're going to do here is we're going to stamp a 4-leaf clover to begin. And then once you're done that, we're going to stamp around it again. But when you do it, just kind of stagger it a bit. You don't want to stamp full on the image itself again, because you do want to have kind of that petal look around that flower, or you want it to look more of a flower instead of a circle. So the third time around, we're just going to ink up the top portion of the heart, and then we'll just stamp around the image again. And this way we get more petals on the outside and then a lighter color too. Okay, and then I'm just inking up part of that heart there just to cover up the 2 word a little bit. But once it dries, it's going to all kind of blend together, and plus you won't see it too much when we add in the line details. Alright, I'm going to pull out the mask that I made. It's not perfect, but it'll work. And then we're just going to stamp the second flower. And I don't know why I started kind of low at the bottom. I think mainly to keep myself in check, because if I did it in the middle, then I'd probably be giant, I suppose. Okay, so this flower here is not looking too hot, really. So I decided to move on to the third flower and kind of catch my bearing on where I want to be. So I'm starting on my second layer of stamping all the way around. And that third flower, I decided that I'm going to have it just kind of a little overlapping. And now I'm going to do the third stamping, just stamping or inking up the top part of the heart. And I'm back to the second flower, just to build on that a bit and finish that off. Okay, so we're going to move on to the half flowers now on the sides. So this one here, I kind of went center and then left, right on the stamping. And then I did do one more for good measure. And then again, ink up just the top part of the heart there to create your layers for this flower. And then for the other side, I kind of did this one different. I went left, right, and then center. And then another one for good measure. And again, we're going to do just the top part of the heart for the layering look. Okay, so that looks awful, right? But it's going to look fine at the end. We're going to add some line details now. So I'm using Marina Mist, and we're going to shape the flower now. So just kind of add some curves along the bottom and going upwards. Just make sure your lines aren't straight because then it won't look natural. And then you're going to do the same thing for the 3 flowers. Just add some curved lines in the center going out. And then with black, we're going to create the centers of the flower. Now don't do a total circle because then it'll look like a flat flower. You want it to kind of almost like it's on an angle. And then this way it gets those leaves or the petals kind of curved and popping outwards. And with wild wasabi, we're going to draw in the base of the flower and the stem. So it's starting to look like it's coming together. And we're going to put in some leaves with lemon lime twist and that heart stamp. We're just going to add leaves all around this arrangement. And I do bring in the lemon lime twist marker to scribble out that 2 word. Okay, so nothing spectacular here, and I'm not like coloring it that gray. I'm just doing some really messy scribbling. And if you don't quite connect to that flower, we'll fix it with the marker. We'll draw some stems on those leaves at each end of the flowers to connect them. Okay, so we have 2 more leaves to go at the top there. And that last one was really off, so I'm just going to connect that with the marker and fix that all up. Okay, and now we're going to use wild wasabi to add the stem for that leaf. And we'll do that on each side, and then we'll draw in some veins. So you're basically just letting the viewer see that, yes, these are leaves. They don't have to be perfect. And then we're going to add just a bit more detail on the flowers. So my lines are not as long as they were originally put down. And then I'm also going to add more concentrated shorter lines around the center there, just so that the image or the flower looks more realistic, basically. And we'll do the same thing on the half flowers or on each end. So you can see that the flowers are starting to come to life and look a little bit more 3D. Okay, so I'm happy with that for now, and I'm just gonna cut this image out and just leave a little bit of a border. And I left most of the footage in there, but I did speed it up a lot, just so you can see how I cut this out. I did leave the harder parts to last. And I wasn't the greatest in fussy cutting, but after a while, when you do it a lot, you get really good at it. Okay, so we're done with that. And I'm just going to add some highlights to the leaves. And I did use lemon lime twist here, but once I finish going around the leaves, it was starting to dry and fade on me. So I did bring in the wild wasabi marker and just added just a little bit more so that it retains that dark highlight, so the leaves will stay popped. And of course, I have to add just a little bit more detail on each of the flowers with Marina Mist. So I'm using the thicker end now, but be super careful because you can really overdo it. So a little bit more in the centers of each flower. And I am a little bit fussed that the details of the leaves or the petals kind of blended together. But with the line detail, I think it helps it. And I also did color in the centers again, just to bring back the details. Okay, so we're going to assemble the card now. And I have the Flirty Flamingo panel, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and then the white panel is 4 inches by 5 1/4. And the craft piece there, I just stuck that down like so and then stamped my sentiment. But once I placed the flower on it, I was kind of like, oh no. I didn't want it kind of crooked. And then I thought maybe I should cut that leaf at the bottom, but I didn't want to do that either. In hindsight, I should have. Yeah. Really hoed and hummed about this. And then I flipped it over, and then that's when I decided I'm going to take this panel apart and I'm going to have the flower at the top instead. So I did put down a white panel first, and then I reused the craft piece because I didn't mangle it too much. And I'm going to settle to have the flower at the top, and then I'm going to restamp my sentiment on the craft part this time. And now I'm going to stick down that flower piece, but I do really like the first layout better. Okay, and then I thought I'd stick down 4 enamel dots this time. And I did put it on a side folding card base. So that's our card. I hope you like it. And I do have a couple of stills coming up. Thanks so much for joining me today. Bye for now.